Imagine this. Right now, summer conversations in your house sound like you need to do something productive this summer. Silence, or worse, an argument. What if instead your child came to you and said, "Hey, I've been thinking about what I want to do this summer." That shift from you chasing them down to them initiating is completely possible. And it starts with one thing: how you start the conversation in the first place. Hey there, if you're new here, my name is Presh, and I started Executive Function Tutors, where we coach students to feel more confident and less overwhelmed with school and the responsibilities that come with it. Today, I'm going to walk you through why the summer conversation tends to create tension, how to have it in a way that actually doesn't cause tension, and what to watch out for based on where your child is developmentally. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear, step-by-step approach for starting the summer conversation in a way that keeps the door open instead of shutting it. Why the conversation goes sideways. Most summer conversations don't go wrong because of what you're asking for. They go wrong because of how your child perceives them. Think about the phrases "we need to talk about this summer." "You can't just do nothing for 3 months." "We need to make a plan." To a parent, all of those sound completely reasonable. To a student with ADHD or a learning difference, those phrases activate something. They signal, this is a performance conversation. This is about what I haven't done. This is about what I need to fix. And the brain responds accordingly with shutdown, defensiveness, or a one-word answer that ends the conversation before it even starts. There's also a timing problem. A lot of these conversations happen when the student isn't ready for them. You, as their parent, have been thinking about summer for weeks. Your child, they probably haven't. So when it comes out of nowhere, they're not just resistant, they're caught off guard. The goal isn't to find the perfect argument that convinces them that summer matters. The goal is to create the kind of conversation they actually want to stay in. How to have the conversation. There are 3 things that determine whether this conversation goes well or sideways before it even starts. They are tone, environment, and the questions you ask. Tone. Come in curious, not concerned. The moment your child senses that this conversation has an agenda, they'll brace for it. Instead, lead with genuine interest in what they want, not what you're hoping they will accomplish. Environment. Low pressure, low stakes. Think of a car ride, a walk together, or after dinner when things feel easy. Not at the kitchen table, especially if it gives or having a meeting type of energy. The environment where you have your conversation sends a signal to your child before you say a single word. The questions. What do you want this summer to actually feel like? This starts with your child, not you, and that changes everything. Is there anything you've been wanting to learn or to try that you never have time for during the school year? This opens curiosity instead of obligation. And for students with ADHD, interest is one of the strongest motivators there is. What kind of support from me would feel helpful and what would feel like too much? This hands them the opportunity of defining your role, which immediately lowers the pressure. Now, if you're listening to this and thinking, this sounds great, but my child needs more than a conversation. They need someone actually helping them build these habits. Then that's exactly what our Executive Function Reset summer program is designed for. EF Reset is for rising 4th through 10th graders who need a structured, supportive summer without it feeling like an extension of school. It's an 8-week one-on-one remote program where we work directly with your student on the executive function skills that make everything else easier, like organization, planning, follow-through, and self-awareness. The link is in the description below if you want to learn more. What to watch out for. Having the conversation is the first step, but depending on where your child is developmentally, there are a few things that can derail even the most intentional check-in. Let me break this down by grade level. Elementary, 4th and 5th graders. The big thing to look out for is future framing. At this age, kids haven't yet developed the self-awareness to connect what they do in summer to how they'll feel when August or September starts. That skill is still being built. So when you say something like, we need to get ahead so you're ready for the fall, they can't actually make that connection yet. To them, it just sounds more like school. What you should try instead is to skip the future framing entirely. Instead, lead with fun and curiosity by asking, what's something you've always wanted to try? Your goal is to have a curiosity conversation. That way, you learn what they actually care about. Middle school, 6th through 8th graders. The big thing to look out for is anything that makes your middle schooler feel like they're being managed. Middle schoolers are in a big season of building their independence, and for students with ADHD, that sensitivity is even stronger because of how much the school year already involves being redirected and reminded. If they sense that conversation feels like your agenda, you'll get resistance before you even get anywhere. What you should try instead is to give them their voice before you share yours. You can do this by asking, what do you want this summer to look like? And then stop talking. Let them answer fully. When they feel heard first, they're far more likely to stay in the conversation when it's your turn to share what you're hoping for. High school, 9th through 12th graders. The big thing to look out for with high schoolers is opening with anything that sounds like a review of the school year. High schoolers, especially those who've had a hard year, come into the summer already feeling a lot. If the check-in opens with what needs to improve, you'll hit a wall immediately. But here's the thing. High schoolers want summer to feel like a real break. And for students with ADHD and learning differences, the school year is genuinely exhausting in a way that's very hard to explain if you haven't experienced it. What you should try instead is to start by acknowledging that rest matters. Something like, I want this summer to actually feel good for you. Then you can gently introduce the idea that having something to look forward to often makes summer feel better, not worse. Your goal is not to sell productivity to them. Your goal is to help them build a summer that feels purposeful and still fun. That's a much easier conversation to have. All right, here's the thing about summer conversations with your child. Sometimes they go really well. Your child opens up, they're excited about something, the conversation felt easy and natural, and both of you walk away feeling like you're finally on the same page again. And sometimes those conversations don't. You ask the questions, you create the right environment, you stay calm, and you still get one-word answers or silence or I don't know 3 times in a row. Both of those outcomes are normal, and both of them are something we can work with. Because even when the conversation goes well, knowing what your child wants and them actually following through it are 2 different skills. And for students with ADHD and learning differences, follow through is often the hardest part. And when the conversation doesn't go the way you hoped, that is not a reflection of your child not caring. That's often a student who hasn't yet built the self-awareness to know what they want, or the confidence to say it out loud, or the trust that the conversation won't turn into another to-do list. Those are all executive function skills too, and they can be built. That is exactly what we work on at EF Tutors. Whether your child came out of this summer check-in with a great idea and 0 follow-through, or they couldn't quite get to a real answer yet, our summer program was designed for both of those students. It's our 8-week one-on-one remote summer program for rising 4th through 10th graders. We meet your student where they are, help them figure out what they actually want this summer to look like, and then build the systems and habits to help them follow through on it. We only have 40 spots across all 3 of our summer tracks, and enrollment will close by June 28th or when we fill up. If this feels like the right fit for your family, don't wait on it. The link to learn and get started is in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!